everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has literally been forever. Man, I don't know the last time I made a video, but I'm excited because in this video, I am literally going to walk you through so much. This is like a life update slash what the heck has been happening slash new career. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot going on and a lot to cover. If you see me looking down, it's because I actually took notes, because if you are familiar with my channel and you've been here since I quit my job as a flight attendant, you know that I get long-winded. And so I tried to draft everything out so that I covered everything literally from the time I quit my job and I made those videos. If you've been following me since that long, it's like 3 years ago. So much has happened. I moved to Hawaii. I did a couple videos about that, but now I live in a brand new city. I don't work for anyone. I work for myself. I scaled my business to 6 figures, and now I just kind of want to share with you how the heck that happened, how I went from being a flight attendant, quitting my job, to living the life I always dreamed. So if you are excited to hear more about that story, just keep watching, because I'm about to tell you. Okay, so I basically want to pick up where I left off. I think my last video, I was talking about how I was living in Hawaii because I had moved to Hawaii to help my brother with his company. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I would go back and watch those videos. It was crazy. So after I had moved to Hawaii, working with my brother was going really well. I loved working with him. I was learning so much. I was doing the most, literally felt like a crazy person, doing emails and funnels and building so much for his business. And then the pandemic hit. So once the pandemic hit, everything in Hawaii essentially shut down. It just got crazy really fast. And so at the time I was still there, but I was ready to leave. And I think at the time, like I had a boyfriend at the time, but then we broke up. So then I was like, there's nothing keeping me here. And you might be saying, well, your brother's there, but he had a girlfriend, so he really wasn't paying me no mind, you know? So I was kind of like, I think it's time for me to leave. So I flew back home to Philly, stayed with my sister and her now husband, thank God for them. And I literally just went all in on my business. Once I left Hawaii, you guys, I was like a crazy person when I got to Philly. Like, I was not watching TV. I was not doing anything but working. They would be like, are you going to hang out with us? And I was just looking at them like, I'm broke. Like, I need to work. I am not about to watch TV while I have no money. I have nothing. So I literally was working so hard when I moved back to Philly. And then it was nice to be back home with family. This pandemic was still happening, but being closer to family and being able to really focus on my business really changed everything for me. And so I was living in Philly. I was contemplating if I wanted to stay in Philly or not. But then my sister got married and essentially like they kicked me out of their house. Not really, but they got married, so I had to leave. And so at that point I was kind of considering, okay, am I going to get my own place in Philly? I'm still trying to build my business up. I'm still trying to figure out how to make consistent money. I wasn't on a place where I wanted to increase my expenses. And I feel like a lot of times, you know, when you're really trying to make something happen for yourself, you need support. And thankfully I have a great family, but it was hard going back home and having to ask my parents like, hey, can I like live in your basement for a couple months while I figure out how to get my life together? Like, I didn't feel like my life wasn't together. I just felt like I needed more time. And I think like that's the first thing with everything is like, I think a lot of people miss out on the greatness that their life could be because they just don't give themselves enough time. And it's like we have our whole lives to figure out what we need to do or what we were born to do. And sometimes it doesn't happen at 18. Sometimes it doesn't happen at 25. I didn't figure out what I wanted to do until I was 26, you know? And so if you're watching this, I just want to encourage you, like, you still have time to figure it out. If you're younger or in your early 20s, please don't let anyone convince you that you should have it figured it out by now. Like, I didn't know or have any clue what I was doing. I still kind of don't, but that's okay. But let me look at my notes because I think I missed something that I'm supposed to tell you guys. Oh, okay. So I already told you that I moved home. I asked my dad if I could move back home to live in their basement. And I really didn't want to do that. But I think like, and that's why I wrote in my notes that the first lesson even when it's stuff you don't want to do, is never be too proud to see it through for your dreams and the life you desire. I was either 26 or 27. I don't know. I was too old, in my opinion, to want to go back home, but it didn't matter. I couldn't be prideful when I knew that I had this big dream, that I wanted my business to work, and I felt like I was so close. So never ever be too proud. You might be in a situation right now where everyone feels like you're winning, like you have this dream job, and you are miserable and you're scared to start over because you're scared of what other people might think, or you're scared to ask for help. Baby, listen. One thing about me is I'm going to start over as many times as it takes to get it right. And I just want to encourage you, if you're watching this video, if you've been waiting on a sign, if you've been scared, like, it's okay to do it scared. I think a lot of people oftentimes think too that people do great things because they're not scared or there's no fear. And great people don't do great things because they don't encounter fear. They do it in spite of fear. And so that's my little sermon. But back to my notes. I moved back home, and once I moved back home, I had joined a coaching program. So I was laser focused on like getting my business to a point where I could really sustain my life. So I invested in a coaching program. Shout out to Ari Hale. I joined a program called Allergic to Hourly, and literally in a matter of like less than 90 days, I hit my first 10K week. And I'll never forget this day because it was actually my mom's birthday, January 13th. So I think I had learned so much from the program, and I had raised my prices, and I was starting to get people on retainer. Like, people were actually coming and like paying me, and it was just one of those moments where I was like, holy crap, like this could really be, this could really work. Like my business, my ideas. And so here's the screenshots, you guys. It's like from PayPal and Stripe, but all together like 10K in that week. And I just remember in that moment being like, I was right, but also I was like, I need to make more money. Because once you start a business, you'll realize that, you'll have goals of like, I want to make $1,000. I want to make $5,000. I want to make $10,000. And then you'll realize that it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, because there's so many expenses and there's so many things that you need to invest in order to make money. That's a whole nother video. But I hit that week, and then I realized like, okay, I really, really need to get out of my parents' basement because this is killing morale. Like literally, it was not good. So I was grateful for their basement, but like one thing about life and being a creative and being a business owner, like your environment is everything. Where you are has so much to do with like your productivity and how you feel and how you show up in the world. And like literally waking up in my parents' basement is so dark down there. I was so sad, and like I would be like working on a table, and it's like, it is what it is, right? Like there's always a way to win, and I say that all the time to people because there is. But once you start making a little bit of money, you gotta you gotta go somewhere else. So I think in my notes, that was the second lesson. This is why I have my notes. This is great. You have to go where you can grow. And that's why I knew, like, I had done as much as I could in my parents' basement. I had to, I had to go somewhere where I knew I could continue to grow. And so at that point, I was kind of racking my mind, because before Hawaii, I had lived in New York, and I was young when I lived in New York. I was like 21. And I was doing I was doing everything but working in New York. And so I didn't really want to go back to New York because I didn't feel like it was going to give me the environment that I needed to be focused and sharp. And so I kind of prayed about it, and I just kept hearing Atlanta, Atlanta, Atlanta. So I was just kind of like, okay. And I visited once, and as soon as I got here, I was like, I'm moving. Like, it was that quick. And so I ended up moving to Atlanta, packing up everything, and just like, my sister came with me. We drove, all the way from my parents' house to Atlanta, and I've been here ever since. And literally from the time that I hit my 10K week in my parents' basement to, when was that? January, to 5 months later, we went from that 10K week all the way to generating over $100,000 in 6 months. Insane. Like, so literally from the time I was like, I got to get out of here, move to Atlanta, within like 30 or 60 days, I moved to Atlanta because I just knew like I needed to go so that I could really, like, I felt things were about to take off. That's another lesson that's not in my notes of like trust your gut. Like sometimes like you just have this feeling of like, I need to go to the city, or I need to really, like, somebody reaches out and you feel like you need to take that opportunity. Like, do it, take action, because a lot of times you drag your feet and you miss out on something that could change your life. Like, I think about it now, what if I would have never moved out of my parents' basement so that I could really get into an environment that I was like super productive, so that I could, hit 100K in 6 months? Like, I don't know what would have happened. I'm just glad that I took action. And that's not one of my lessons, but take it or leave it. But back to my notes. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. I'm nowhere close to being done, right? But if you would look at my life in the last 18 months and the decisions that I've made to get me to this point where I have a business and now I'm growing a team and I can pay my own bills and I'm not living in my parents' basement, you might not have thought that the same person 18 months ago would be here. But it's not about how you start something. At the beginning, I had nothing. Literally, all I had was faith in myself and the commitment to see it through, to get a table from Walmart, to borrow a desktop from my sister so I could work my butt off, sun up to sundown, so that I could make something happen for my life. And this was me at 27, 28, right? And you might be watching this, you might be in your early 20s, acting like your life is over because you don't have it figured out. And I just want to tell you, it is not about how you start. You have so much time, you have so much potential. And it literally only starts with you making the decision that this is what you really want, and then doing everything in your power to go after it. And so that's kind of like what I've been doing, you guys. I've been working my butt off. I've been working, and it's hard. And, I'm excited because I'm filming this. This is not my house, y'all. Do you see this? This is cute. I have help. Jay is recording this. I'll put his info down below. My girl Tyler was like, let's go film content. I was like, you know what? Let me film this so I can give an update. And it's really on my list to be really committed and consistent with YouTube, because I feel like I need to share more of my story, because I feel like there are so many people who just need to be reminded that it's possible. Like, 3 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I had no money. I quit my job. I was, relying on my parents and my siblings and asking for help. And I'm at this point now where, because I decided to take radical responsibility for my life, I now am living the life I always wanted. And so that's like it, you guys. Like, that's the story time. I think that I did a good job, because looking at my notes, I think that I hit everything. Yeah, that's it. So this is the end. I think I did pretty good. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Y'all know my videos be like 20 minutes and I'll be acting like they're not going to be long, then it'll be long. But I'm excited. I am publicly saying that I'm committed to YouTube this year. I am bringing more videos. Comment down below what videos you want to see. I am really focused on bringing videos about entrepreneurship, mindset, and lifestyle, and just like sharing my story. I don't know it all, but what I do know, I'm willing to share. And so, yeah, I hope that maybe something in this story, maybe something in this video resonated with you, and maybe it was just a reminder to you that it is possible for you. And I love, like, I did this on my other video when I quit my job. I told everybody to comment down below if they made it to the end of this video, to comment dream down below. So comment dream down below. I feel like it's time for people to start dreaming again, to realize that anything that they want in life is possible if they do the work. So comment dream down below. Super excited. Tune in for my next video. What's all the things they're like this video, subscribe, comment down below, and most of all, I just want to leave you guys with this. I think I'm like crying, but it's just my allergies. I'm not. We cried in the other video, chat. We're not crying today, but I just want to leave y'all with this. I believe in you. Like, I do. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.